So where are we? Just zoom, 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 zoom. You see it? Quite bright, can't really see. And it's working today, of course. Hello there, I'm Tim, and well, you know the rest, how to motivate, blah blah blah, Southwest Coast Path, only it's not today. I am at Sandbanks, the other side of the ferry from where you saw me last, and not on the Southwest Coast Path, because I don't know when to give up, basically. I don't know when to quit when I'm ahead, so I decided to keep going. This is day one of week one of what what no one else is calling the Southeast Coast Path, and I've decided I'm just going to walk to London along the South Coast Path, except it's not the Southwest Coast Path, it's the English Coast Path. This is not very good as introductions go, I admit. I haven't done this in a while. What is it? It's the Sunday the 6th of March, and it's around 11:30 in the morning, and today I've got about 9 miles to do. I've parked the car that way, only there's like a spiky fence and private land and a hotel. So already off the starting block, I'm looking at an inland detour back along the road. You can just see the open top bus I rode here on, which was really busy, and there was only seats in the open top bit. And to me, an open top bus is essentially a defect, not a feature. Very cold today. It's about 4 to 5 degrees, and quite a strong northeasterly wind, about 10 mile an hour. It's making it quite chilly. I've got all my trousers on, all the usual gear. We've done this before. The only thing that's different today is that I'm not got any acorns to follow. So I've scoped it all out. It looks like a really easy route today, actually. It's just follow the seafront promenade for about 9 miles through Bournemouth and to Christchurch at the other end. So I'm going to make a start anyway. This bit's mostly just to show you I was actually at the start, you know, didn't cheat. And yeah, there's the end of the Southwest Coast Path there. I mean, if you were doing the retrograde Southwest Coast Path, this would be the start. You'd begin at that blue marker and head off down the shorefront there, but we're not. We're going the other way. I don't think it's going to rain today, but that looks quite grey. Mind you, I've got all the waterproofs, everything's in bags, you know, it's the usual thing. So yeah, if that's enough fast spinning around for people trying to focus on the horizon, I'll make a start and talk to you in a bit. Okay, I think I found a cut through to a beach. Get some sort of idea of what's going on. Very busy today. So over there, extremely windy. Over there, in the far distance, I think that is Hengersbury Head, where I think I left my car. So to get there, I need to go all the way along here and up. I think I found a way back down to a beach. I'm not sure you can get around the end there, but I don't know, people look like they're giving it a go. Anyway, yeah, this is going to be a problem. I think we're going to see going forward is access. The old Harry Rocks there, quite dramatic. And that over there is the Isle of Wight, where about 2 weeks ago they had 122 mile an hour winds recorded. Yes, 122, which is yeah, just mind-boggling. So that's why it's taken me till March to get back out here. Certainly, that and I had COVID as well. I'll tell you about that later. But yeah, it's quite brisk here. I'm going to probably have to do this from a series of like bus shelters or rain shelters or whatever, because I'm heading basically straight into that wind. Going to be quite a challenge to record. Got to keep moving. Quite cold. Wow, I think I may have underestimated the conditions or something. That wind chill is strong enough to make my face shatter, so got the scarf on. I'm not just worried about COVID. Okay, it looks like some sort of boulevard, some sort of promenade over there, which I should be able to get on and just stay on for, wow, many miles actually. I mean, the whole thing is just one long sweep all along the shoreline to the cliffs over there. a sort of weird, improbable standalone hill thing there, which I think is Hengistbury Head. So yeah, lots of people kite surfing, good weather for it. Very determined family there with a windbreak. God damn it, we are going to enjoy our holiday. Oh, yeah. So coughing and wheezing a little bit, mostly because I've just gotten over COVID, the Omicron variant. Yeah, that was about 2 weeks ago, through to about a week ago. I'm all right now. I've done one of the little lateral flow test things and it came back negative mid last week, so I'm just getting over the coughs and wheezing a little. Wasn't bad. I got away with just, you know, unpleasant flu symptoms, not anything life-threatening or ventilatory or anything like that, but that was with both vaccine shots and a booster, so it does make you wonder how much worse it could have been. Of course, Boris has said it's all fine. A couple of weeks back, one Thursday, just came out and said, yeah, no, it's all fine, just do what you like now. Masks, whatever, don't bother. So yeah, I'm starting to feel like, you know, one of the last masked bandits in the shop and on the bus. I think at some point that just starts to become a kind of passive-aggressive sort of treason, doesn't it? Not getting behind the message and not taking your mask off. Still, I expect my masking days are not long for this world either. Don't want to be the last one wearing one, you know. Did my bit. I tried, I really tried. I don't really see anyone. I work from home a lot. I masked up in all the shops and places, did all the hand sanitising, and I still got the bloody thing, so no idea where from, but then I don't suppose you ever will find out, really. It's, you know, an invisible airborne virus. So, well, contact virus technically, but it's everywhere, I'm sure. So, yeah, God. But then I suppose we're always all going to have to get it and get it over with, so maybe that's not a bad thing, really. Get it mild, get it once everything's sorted and infrastructure's in place and testing is established, you know. Everyone else has gone ahead of you. So yeah, that was that. Anyway, we got World War III to worry about nowadays, so no one cares about COVID anymore. Oh, God. Right, anyway, I'm going to keep moving because, you know, standing still is death. Speak to you again shortly. So yeah, the beach is just the other side of these fabulously expensive flats. Come onto the inland road, get some good views of Poole Harbour there, Brownsea Island. Quite popular with windsurfers, this little inland harbour lagoon type thing, lake. Though most of the wind's out the other side today. Yeah, and the trick is now I don't have any acorns to work from. Trying to find something called the Bournemouth Way, which is a small connecty 20-mile stretch which hooks onto the Solent Way, which I could probably use to get all the way to Chichester or something. But beyond that, the planning gets a bit hazy. I mean, the English coast path is a kind of theoretical legal construct at the moment, not necessarily much in the way of actual signposts on the ground. So the rest of my self-imposed challenge could get quite a bit more technical and tricky. For now, I just need to find a road to the right that goes back to the beach. Google tells me there's an actual footpath I can follow from there then. It should be good. Trudging along a road again. Yeah. Having a bit of a sit down on the ice cold concrete block. Yeah, I managed to dodge a significant stretch of loose dry sand between here and there, going the other side of the road, the other side of that lot and onto the road. So this is going to be the problem, I think, going forward. It's just there's not like a firmly long established footpath to follow now. I mean, I'm going to be alright for the next couple of days, probably, next week or two, because we got the Solent Way, which does a reasonable job of acting like a footpath along the coast. But I have to connect to that first, which is somewhere along there. Still in Dorset at the moment. At some point I'll cross over into Hampshire, somewhere on the other side of Christchurch possibly. Keep a lookout for that. Look at those kites go. So windy. Yeah, it's a funny old thing. I mean, to be honest, I almost didn't bother doing this. Not the hiking, obviously. I mean, that was a really easy decision, that was. Just keep going is what I do, you know. No, the difficult decision was whether to bother filming it all again. I mean, I'm gratified there was a small amount of interest in my actual Southwest Coast Path stuff, but this is just me walking along a beach now, and, you know, potentially for the next 20 years. I did a bit of working out as a scratch pad, have a go with the measure distance tool on Google Maps and pace it all out and stuff, and I came up with a kind of figure of if I do 2 weeks every year camping as I go, like I've been doing so far, I can probably get the whole of the English coast path, including Wales, done in about 20 years. I mean, I'm 46 now. Yeah, it's good to have a hobby, you know, good to have a goal. I'm just going to keep going and see how far I get, basically. But yeah. But then I thought, well, at the end of the day, nobody has to watch this stuff, but if I don't post it, no one gets to choose. So, you know, it's the sort of creative anxiety written large in all sorts of things, really. No one has to, you know, you can paint a picture, you can take photographs, you can write a book, or, you know, compose a musical or whatever. And you don't have to show it to anyone, but they then don't get to decide if it's good or not. So, you know, host it up and just see what happens, you know. Nobody has to watch it, nobody has to like it. I mean, some people do have to put nasty comments on things, but they're in the minority generally. So, yeah. So, yeah, I'm probably just going to keep posting more videos like this. This is a day trip today. I'm taking advantage of the fact that I live quite close to here. It was only about an hour and 10 minutes drive to get to here this time. Well, to get to over there more precisely. It's about another hour on the bus connecting through, but yeah. And it's going to be honest, it's going to be very difficult to wild camp along this next week's worth of coastline. It's pretty much wall-to-wall seaside apartments from here to, or at least you know, the South Downs and around Brighton sort of way. So yeah, it's going to be. I mean, I always maintain that no matter how dense or busy a place, I didn't think I could find anywhere to wild camp around Torquay, but you know, there was plenty of places if you look. There's always a small bit of scrub ground that no one pays too much attention to late at night, you know. So I could have wild camped potentially, but it's just so cold. It's about, what, 4 degrees, 5 degrees, but the wind is pretty emphatic. So yeah, day tripping. I think the plan for day tripping for this week, I use air quotes for week because it's just going to be a bunch of day trips until Portsmouth, I think the plan is at the moment. Get out that way. It involves crossing the Solent, some New Forest stuff. If I follow the Solent way, it actually does a massive inland detour chunk around Bewley sort of way and cuts across the New Forest up to the top of Southampton. So that'll be interesting. I'm going to be keeping an eye out for English Coast Path signs. Let's see if there are any. I have seen one. I saw one near Weston-super-Mare once, about a couple of years back. I mean, it should in theory be open by now, but you know, COVID's slowed everything down. So yeah, there are signs. It is a thing. It's just I'm just going to have trouble finding it. It's not going to be a chippy little set of acorns on every fingerboard, every sort of 200 meters or anything. It's going to take some work. And finding out, and a bit of improvisation. I shouldn't imagine. It's going to take some rules as well. I'm going to need to come up with some rules for the rest of my challenge. I mean, following the Southwest Coast Path is pretty self-explanatory. There's a basic set of rules that are implied, but what I'm doing now, I don't know, it's entirely up to me. This southeast coast path I've invented today doesn't actually exist as such. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting next couple of decades. I hope you got the stamina, right? I hope I have. Anyway, I need to stand up and move about a bit more because this block of stone is really quite chilly. There you go, quiet bit. This is Canford Cliffs. And they are cliffs, but unfortunately the promenade passes neatly underneath them. Cornwall could learn a thing or two. Beach chalet huts things, of course. And that looks very much like a Lowry painting. Let me see if I can zoom a bit. So that's Bournemouth Pier. That's a significant place I'm aiming at. There's not a lot between here and there though, although I'm led to believe it's a nice asphalt tarmac footpath like this pretty much all the way to the end of today, which is nice. Start on an easy day, 9 miles, should do that in about 3 or 4 hours, probably 4, maybe 5. I'm quite out of condition. Bit of sunlight, it's nice, enjoy that while that lasts. Don't think it's going to rain today, but I'm ready for anything, so. Oh, Canford Cliffs Promenade. Yes. Yeah, got extra daylight today since last time, November or whatever. It's 2 additional hours lighter in the evening now. So, I mean, the clocks change again at the end of this month, so got a bit longer to actually get stuff done. Mind you, the travel and the car stuff is still a bit of a faff, so trying not to go for full-on 18-mile days at the moment. Work back up to it. I need to do the couch to 5k again. Never ends, fitness. Constant irritation and demand. Yeah, busy out here. Look at all these people. All heading to or from a nice big Sunday lunch, I imagine. Still at it. That's Branscombe Beach. Well, it's all be at Branscombe Beach, I suppose. Thought I'd walk on the sand a bit to mix things up. It's a bit samey today. I mean, you know, say what you like about the hills of Cornwall and the steps and the cliffs, but never a dull moment. Always majestic, always different. I think I've walked the same mile for the last 3 miles. It's very odd. I'm starting to worry what I'm going to do when I hit Norfolk. Probably have to start experimenting with tone poetry or something. Right, so yes, as I said, I'm walking to London. Why not? Let's do it. So yes, I've divided the English coast path up into sections based on the amount I've already done over there, which basically the whole southwest coast path amounts to about the first 1/6 of the English coast path. I don't know where the English coast path actually starts, whether it's up at like the Lake District or in London, but certainly I've done a large part of it already, so I figured why not capitalise on that and keep going. So yes, I've divided it up into 6 rough sections to the southwest coast path. The section that I'm on now, which I'm going to keep calling the southeast coast path until it takes off, till other people will start calling it that. And that basically runs all along the south coast, includes the Isle of Wight over there, and goes around the end at Dover, back through Folkestone, and up the Thames estuary to the Queen Elizabeth Bridge, I've arbitrarily decided, mostly because wild camping in central London is just an invitation to trouble, to be honest. So yeah, I shall use the first available land crossing of the Thames, which is the Queen Elizabeth II Bridge. I checked, it's got, is it Queen Elizabeth II Bridge or Queen Elizabeth I Bridge? Either way. It has got a footpath, I checked. I mean, technically it is part of the M25, I think, but I could still use it to cross the river. And at that point, I think I call that done. Then there's going to be the East Coast Path, which I don't know where it takes me. It might take me halfway up, or it might go all the way up. I don't know. There might be a Northeast Coast Path. I kind of lost track. Actually, I did write it all down somewhere. But yes, it's basically a whole lot of shenanigans around Essex and Suffolk, where there's just so many creeks and islands and inlets and rivers and things that I'm going to have a nightmare, I think. And then on to Norfolk, which is just a massive, long, very flat, straight amount of stuff. But there must be towns and cities up there. I've read about it. I've been there once, actually. I went on a Norfolk Broads holiday twice, in fact. Yeah, I went back again. A Great Yarmouth, for example, is a city or town that is on the coast of the East, the North Sea. That'd be interesting, possibly. Yeah, and then up all the way up to, I think it's Humberside, is essentially where it stops, the Scottish border. Now, I haven't yet decided whether Scotland counts or not. Scotland is not part of the English coast path, mostly because the Scottish coast path is an insane proposition that's about an additional 2,000 miles and is mostly fjords and lochs and inlets and tiny islands. So I don't know what I'm going to do about that. I may skip it and just come back down from the Lake District, down the side through Blackpool and Liverpool and all that, down to Wales, where there is already a long established Welsh coast path, which is a thing, which I will then tack on. I mean, in theory, you don't have to do the Welsh coast path to count as the English coast path, but if you're there anyway, it's that or Offers Dyke Way, so you know. And then yeah, just a tinsy little connecty bit around Weston super Mare down to Minehead again, and then I'll have done the whole thing. I'll be about 60. I'll be in my 60s probably, if I'm still alive at all. I mean, we could all get annihilated in the upcoming Third World War. But yeah, that's the plan anyway. And I'm starting on a very easy day trip. Mind you, the day tripping is going to probably cease to be viable once I get past Brighton, much past Eastbourne, that sort of thing, because I did day trip the South Downs Way. You might find that elsewhere on the channel. And that was all Sunday day trips by car, but towards the very far in by Eastbourne, that was starting to get a bit harrowing. So I think much beyond Eastbourne, I'm going to have to start either driving to a nearby town and using it as a base for day trips from there, or just getting on a train with the backpack and camping in hedges again, which I kind of miss the camping in hedges, but this really isn't the time of year for it. But anyway, starting off, breaking myself back in with a nice easy day. So that's Bournemouth Pier up there. There's Boscombe Pier a bit further along, I think. And then after that, just not much, just, you know, little seaside houses and stuff, up to the end, Hengistbury Head. A lot of retirement flats in this neck of the woods. Very popular place to spend the remaining years after you've done your service to society or whatever employer you chose. Mostly because of the climate. This is about as rough as it gets today, and it's still quite sunny and not, you know, bitterly cold. And all the amenities are here. There's lots of support and infrastructure. You know, you're not in the middle of nowhere having to croft sheep or whatever. Yeah. Right, let's crack on. Get back on that pavement. Done with sand. Hard work. Get the orientation right one day. So this is alum chine. Alum with an M, chine with an N. Chine. That's a great word. I'm going to have to look up the etymology of that. It's probably something delightfully folky. For more information, push pause. Not seeing any lifeguard flags. Actually, do you see these occasional groups of, they're predominantly middle-aged, late middle-aged women who go gather in groups and just like swimming in sub-zero seas and stuff. Little rubbery hats on. I've seen a couple of those groups already today. It's not just me, it's real, I believe me. Anyway, let's carry on. A lot of cafes. I'm not really in the mood for a cafe at the moment. I could do a shop, just get a sandwich or something, but that's one of the nice parts of it being such a civilised day stage, just shops everywhere. And people, which is the downside. I suppose without people you don't really get shops. Yeah. Look at that, already the Haven Hotel on the end is a distantly receding shape. Making progress. That's good. Yeah, coming up on Bournemouth Pier. Oh, that's, yeah, I don't think I've seen that before. Oh, it's a zip wire. Yeah, I think I've heard about this. So go down to the other end. We'll have to have a go and have a proper look. Obviously, if this were a proper celebrity goes hiking type show, then obviously I'd be made by the production crew to go on that, but it's not, so I don't, so that's good. Look at that, another funicular railway. Currently out of operation. Not as big as the one at Linton. Or the one at Oddicombe either, which I had to walk up the side of and then back down again because I was lost. Yeah, everyone's selling ice cream or coffee at the moment. I'm not in the mood for either. I'm seeing a lot of ironic chalk ices about today. I mean, I'm a seasoned outdoorsman, so I know the dangers of an ill-appropriate magnum, but these people just don't care. They obviously assume they're quite near to rescue should the worst befall them. And they'd be right, I suppose. That is the centre of Bournemouth. That's the pier and the winter gardens just up ahead. I'll do some proper camera work when we get there, I suppose. But, well, insofar as I do proper camera work, he says, frantically zooming and wobbling all over the place. It's a very Blair Witch aesthetic I tried to go for, you know. Only I'm not sure this phone has night vision mode, so Yes, very noisy. What do you want? Probably slower wind speeds, I'd imagine. I've been attacked by seagulls yet, but I'm not holding chips, so doing well. Following all the advice. Right, let's crack on. There's so many people here. They're like, there's hundreds of people, obviously, which is, you know, not less than ideal. And then there's loads of bicycles up and down here as well. They're allowed on here. Apparently they have a speed limit of 10 miles an hour, and pedestrians have priority, but I haven't really been seeing that in evidence much. Push chairs, obviously, loud barky dogs. There's just too much going on. It's too busy. Don't like it. Mind you, I shall need to remind myself of this conversation when I'm trudging through some god-awful fens east of London, up the Thames Estuary in the shadow of an oil refinery without a person or shop in sight for days at a time. This is about as good as it's going to get, frankly, this in terms of technical walking. That's a nice solid wide pavement. Yes, you've got to go around people and not get hit by bikes, but on the whole it's flat, level, well maintained, good solid ground, unlike this. Yeah, it's probably the best sort of time you can make whilst doing this kind of hiking. So I should probably just learn to appreciate it, because it's going to get worse. Yes? Squawkington. Yeah. Wants a pasty. I haven't got one, sorry. It's a story there, I'm sure. That I don't want to know. Right, onward. Ah, here we are. Bournemouth seafront. That's the BIC, Bournemouth International Centre. I think the Liberal Democrats have their party conference there, or they used to anyway. I think the Tories are in Brighton and Labour in Blackpool usually. And there's the pier from the land end. Big old arcade in there and so on. I'll go out on it in a minute. Winter gardens through there. They did a fantastic thing at Christmas. They had about 50 or 60 massive Christmas trees just made of lights. You know, none of the boring spruce fir wood stuff. Just light cones of coruscating lights and stuff. Worth a visit if they do it again. Yeah. I did see somebody actually zip wiring as well, so let's go and see if we can see any of that going on. Although I might try and find a sandwich first. Yeah, a bit peckish. Anyway, there we go. Bournemouth achieved. On to the next thing. Boscombe, I think. There we go. Looks like some people clipping on. Here we go. What a release form. Go on, you can do it. This isn't a good sight. You go behind that building, I can't see it. We're on the end of the pier though. There's Purbeck over there. Wind's died off a little. Maybe I'm just sheltered somewhat. Durlston Country Park on the very end. And that's where we started today. Sandbanks, Haven Hotel, etc. We go around the other side and I'll see where they land. I'd conservatively estimate that as, I don't know, 40 feet up. About 30 metres. Oh, here we go. Bit of a screamer there. Quite a way away. Some professionals to catch them. Very organised. So this used to be, well, the cafe's always been the cafe, but the big building in the middle there used to be a theatre, and then it was an amusement arcade. Now it's an indoor climbing wall, adventure centre thing. They got like mock caving going on in there, some climbing walls, all sorts. And sounds of things. Fascinating to know how much they paid to be flung off this pier at speed. I don't want paying, frankly. going to plead my advancing years and not bother. Well, I found a sandwich and a sheltered place in which to eat it. It's getting a bit overcast. I'm hoping we're not going to get rain today. I didn't see any on the weather forecast, but let's say ready for anything. So that over there's Boscombe Pier, a lesser and a less illustrious and less well-known pier, which we'll probably go and have a look at as well. Well, that's the next thing to see, and I think it's just more beach huts and pavement all the way along, which is not a bad thing, you know, given the conditions, the wind and just the general out of conditionness of me. Quite enjoying this being broken back in gently sort of thing, you know. Oh, yeah, hands going white again. I think there might be gloves on. The wind's picked up a bit. Mind you, I am on the end of a pier. Right, let's get back off of here and down to some relative shelter and then trudge on a bit, I think. Oh, I like the colour coordinated beach huts there. Someone's had a plan there, look at that. It's like a Pantone swatch. I like it. There's the terminus. So that's I can see the numbers 15, 24, 12 and 45, 62, 13, 35. See, I don't know, I can't read the, what's that, dual, single, group, okay, bulk discount. Well, I mean the minimum viable divisible unit of a go on a zip wire is 1, so I'm assuming 15 quid a go. Yeah. I'd rather go on the rock climbing, to be honest. Also, you nearly lost me on the first day of this new endeavour because there was a sign back there that said they were selling 9 martini espressos for 35 quid, so, you know, in the bar. So, yeah. I showed immense fortitude, go me. Not sure it should be that warped. Properly abandoned funicular railway there. No idea how long this has been like this. Needs some work. So yes, trudging on. At least they've divided the path in half now. Bikes have to share the bit with the train, which I haven't seen yet. The majestic sea roars on relentlessly, caring little whether I make it to or from anywhere. Yeah. Now the needles. Looking forward to that. Yeah, because of the logistics involved. Although the Isle of Wight's actually fairly close to where I live, as the crow flies, the crow doesn't have to get a hovercraft every time they want to go there. So I will be doing that in one go. It'll be the return of the camping gear, I expect. Quite rusty. I don't know, last time I camped was the other side of Seaton, way over yonder that way. So, yeah. Maybe I've forgotten how to do it. Anyway, it's quite a way to go for this. Got about another 4 or 5 days worth of day tripping before I get to Portsmouth, which will be where I'm probably going to go from. Yeah. Yeah, sandstone, I believe. Quite crumbly, hence the bay. Purbeck stone over there, much stronger stuff, resilient, limestone or whatever, I don't know. Chalk over there. But yeah, Henkersbury Head must be made of something similar to Purbeck then. I guess we'll see when we get there, but because it's resisted the elements and created the other end of this bay. So yeah. Nicely raked sand. I wonder if they import it. I know they do in some places. And Western Supermare, they bring it in by a truckload at the beginning of the season because the Severn is mud, basically. The Severn estuary, it's a mud river outflow. And if they want anything resembling a classic tourist sandy beach, they need to bring sand in. I don't know, this is always, I think they probably have sand here, but this has definitely been artificially raked. Yeah. Right. Another push. There we go, Pier fans. A rare treat, 2 in one day. Ugh, let's get off the side of it. Yeah, something of a more minimalist 1960s design here. Very little actually on it. It's got a small hut at one end, and yeah, it's just a place where you stand and look at the sea, or fish, or whatever. We'll go and have a look at the sea and fish or whatever in a minute. Seeing a lot of open beach huts along the front there, and I have to say I'm not impressed. They are just nicely painted sheds. I doubt any of them have even running water or electric. Just somewhere to park your deck chair. Don't know how much they cost to hire or rent or whatever. There's a big sign up. There's a lot of signs around saying you can rent them though. Might be marginally less faff than just working out of the boot of a car, but you know, I'm not convinced. And they're just a really odd sight as well. I don't know if anywhere else in the world does beach huts and piers the same way we do. Perhaps they do. I'll have to look. Very pleased with progress though. I don't know what the time is. I can check. I can scroll down. There you go. Look, 2 o'clock just gone. We're some distance away from there and some distance away from there. So, go me. Yeah, let's go and have a look at this pier then and see what the deal is. Excuse me. Found a big thing to sit on, so I'm sitting on it. Big stepped structure. Boscombe Pier entrance. Very retro, possibly inadvertently. I don't know, did this one burn down? Maybe they rebuilt it to look like that on purpose. Am I confusing it with another pier? They do burn down sometimes. I think that's why this one's made of concrete now. Seaside town. Expensive flats, bed and breakfasts, blah blah blah. Inexplicable monoliths. Oh, hello. Yeah. So another Ukrainian flag. I've seen a couple of these today. On the bus on the way through, quite a few buildings flying them in solidarity. Right. Mayans MC. Might be time to get out of town. Yeah, parking guy just waved them through. He's not messing. Yeah, so what, we're about 11 days into Putin's retirement fund land grab. It's not going well. I mean, the Ukrainians are holding out very well, and generally the world is full of people going, well done you Ukrainians, keep it up. Not full of very many people going, here Ukrainians, here are 3 battalions of mechanised infantry to break the siege on your capital. But there you go. I suppose it takes 2 to tango, or in this case obliterate all life in every industrialised nation on earth. And Putin is definitely one of those 2. I guess the rest of NATO's leaders don't really want to, kind of don't want to be the second guy in that dance. So yeah, I'm just going for a walk on the beach because you know you got to get on with your life or go mad, really, haven't you? I grew up during the Cold War, during the 80s. I lived I grew up about 10 miles away from Greenham Common Air Base and about another 10 miles away from the Aldermaston Atomic Weapons Research Establishment. And they told us about it as kids growing up. They told us what would happen. They told us the effects of a blah 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 kiloton yield detonating in the centre of London, etc. Here, look, it goes, fireball goes this far, everything is totally destroyed this far out, everyone this far out dies of radiation within 3 months. And they never told us how to cope with any of that. Never told us how to feel or what to do about any of it. And I think mostly because no one knew themselves. Whoever was telling us this stuff, never really knew what to do about any of it. Just, you know, try and get on with life as best you can and hope it never happens. Hope saner minds prevail. But here we are again, 30 years later, 30 plus years. A nuclear power has initiated a land war in Europe, you know. I don't really have anything witty to say, unfortunately. It just is what it is. We just have to wait and see if there's going to be a next hiking trip and a next camping trip on the Isle of Wight or whatever. I suppose so, but there's a non-negligible, non-zero chance that we might all die in nuclear fire, and that's new again. Well, it's not new. It reminds me of the good old days. But what can you do? What can I personally do? I can chuck a few quid in a collection tin, I suppose, for like humanitarian stuff, and I suppose I probably will, but, you know, you kind of feel like you want to go over there and actually do something concrete, but, you know, I don't imagine it's going to help anyone if I turn up, hey, I'm really bad at Ghost Recon Breakpoint, give me a gun, I want to help. Be more of a danger to the allies than the enemy, I think, probably. And that's true of most people in our life, in our society, in this day and age. We're all soft people who don't hunt or gather, who don't generally train with rifles very often. Some nations, Switzerland and stuff, they all got, you know, rifles under their beds, and they're required to go and do practice because they don't actually have a standing army. But, you know, most of us, war and soldiery is a sort of slightly quirky, out there profession that doesn't really appeal to most people. Doesn't really factor in our day-to-day lives. And there's always a few super enthusiastic gun nuts who join the TA and didn't quite make it through the psych eval for basic training of the proper army, but the real problem is when one of those gets to be in charge of a nuclear power. I mean, he basically a sort of jumped up mob boss who's got really lucky, and now he's looking to leave his mark on history by, well, ending it, I think. And no one's quite sure that he isn't actually going to push that button, you know. It doesn't really help anyone pushing the button, including himself, but no one's totally sure, which is why I think NATO are a bit cagey about getting involved at the moment. Much to the consternation of the Ukrainians, who would quite like some air cover. Yeah, I don't know, I'm just documenting it really. This is no funny improvised stand-up routine, this is just, you know, me recording it for posterity. This is the world as it is when I go hiking, you know, a bit like COVID or Brexit before that, or God knows what else. Now we're on the edge of World War III, you know. Just when you think, oh well, you know, at least it can't get any worse than this. And no, everyone's just, you know, going about their lives. You get the occasional little flag flying or a sticker or something, but that's generally the conscientious minority. Most people just don't want to know. They want to get on with their lives and not be nuclearly annihilated, I suppose. And who can blame them? Anyway, enough rumination. I'm going to get up and walk for a bit and just try and tire myself out of worrying about geopolitics. Look, I'm on another pier. Boscombe Pier this time. And there's basically nothing here. They've got a like mini crazy golf course thing, which is quite cute because the balls, apparently, you buy them down the end and get hire the club, I suppose. They are made of fish food. And at the 18th hole, apparently it drops into the sea and decomposes, feeds the fish. It's also got loads of musical instruments all scattered along the thing, which I'm going to leave well alone. Never been musical, even percussively. But, yeah, so that's Hengistbury on the end there, and I think my car should be somewhere around there. So yeah, I don't know, hard to judge. I'd say we're probably about 2/3 of the way today through, distance-wise, and it's 2:15. Started at 11:30. Yeah, that's about right. It's good. So yeah, just another very big long yomp. I'm thinking that the pedestrianism is going to peter out a bit as we get further north of, well, to the east. That's east, isn't it, that way? Yes. We go beyond Boscombe and the shops and coffee shops and ice creams and whatnot, and the pier and the attractions and things. It should start to get a bit more just the locals out walking their dogs, I think, as the further we go along. But I don't know though. It's quite a popular place to come all the way along here, so as evidenced by beach huts. Yeah. Hopefully we're not actually going up that cliff at any point, staying down on the shore, but we'll see. Right, back to land. Look, goats. Not something I expected to see. not along this bit of shoreline. No. Are they meant to be there? Or are they just feral, loose goats? I think it's probably some sort of gorse management plan. I don't know, wouldn't you want gorse to grow big and strong to bind it all to the rock together? Surface. I suppose if the gorse bushes themselves get too big and top heavy, they start to endanger the underlying soil. Perhaps that's what the goats are doing. Trim them down, just keeping them nice and low, but with a lot of rootstock. Clever though, thinking about it, yeah. Plus goats are cool. Something that demonic look that cute. Huh? Picking up a bit of chop there. It's good though. It's just nice. I mean, it's cold, it's challenging, grueling a bit, but that's because I'm soft, I think. Feet just about starting to ache now, which is not bad for a couple of hours. Not nearly as bad as I thought it would be, given how little I've done over the winter. And yeah, first it was weather, including this storm Eunice or whatever. Is it Eunice? I don't know, the one that began with E. You see all these lumps of sand along the edge here. These are most likely where council have been through with JCBs and shifted it all off of this road after it all got pushed up onto the driven quite extensively up onto the shore. Artificial lump. Wind and rain have carried those away, meld them back into the beach. But yeah, quite a lot of sand have come off. And you can see just there, sort of been about a foot deep probably all along here. And yeah, the highest ever wind speed recorded in the UK or England or whatever, on the Isle of Wight over there, gleaming at me. 122 miles an hour. Probably that's gust speed, and so I mean that's mad. I mean, I generally won't camp if it's more than 30 miles an hour, and I'd touch and go whether I'd just go on day hikes in 50. I mean, 50 is way too high really. 40 is probably more nearer the mark of the upper limit I'd consider. But yeah, 122, I mean, you just wouldn't have any control over your body at that point. You would just be picked up and chucked around. Madness. I mean, it killed a couple of people. These things generally do. There's always a couple of people who are unlucky with trees and get their cars staved in or whatever, but quite a lot of damage, a lot of trees down around there where I was. Our local council were actually out chopping them up during the storm. They were that good, that responsive. Can't fault their response time on that. Yeah, they tore the roof off the O2 Millennium Dome thing in London. You know, it's just a mad one, and that's, you know, more and more normal. But no, climate change isn't real. I mean, it's just that the weather is such a complex system. It's hard to pin a direct culprit on why we're getting such mental storms so much nowadays. There's no easy one thing you can point out and go, that did it. So people tend to shy away from making the sort of intuitive leaps, I suppose, because you can't directly prove A, B, C cause effect. It tends to get dismissed a bit. I don't think it's a coincidence though. Warmer weather, warmer world temperature leads to more unsettled weather patterns, I'm sure. Alright, that's probably another 2-3 miles perhaps. It's probably nearer, I don't know. So my car's parked just this side of that big lump, but I want to go to the other side because the other side is where there's a ferry across Christchurch Harbour, another smaller lagoon a bit further ahead, and that goes across to Muddyford on the other side, and that would basically be the starting point for my next day. But I'm going to just skip the ferry entirely and start on the other side, so basically get to the ferry terminal, stop, come home, drive to the other ferry terminal and then start walking from there, which means I will technically miss the ferry itself, but since that's mileage I would have spent sat down and not walking anyway, I think that's probably fine. This is the thing, this whole challenge now is about me setting my own rules and sticking to them now. Things like the first available land river crossing will do, you know, that kind of thing. Inland detours, what constitutes as a legal move. And you, I don't know, walking past nuclear power stations, which will happen. Will happen on this particular southeast coast path. There's some over near Dover, Folkestone sort of way on the coast there. Dungeness, I'm not sure what the exact name is, but you have to negotiate those. You know, there's yeah. This is into much more unfamiliar territory, much more unestablished decorum, I suppose. The rules I'm going to have to make up because it's more my thing than just a thing that people do. I don't know if anyone has ever done the English coast path. Every time I look on Wikipedia about the whole thing, it's all just which sections have got signage, and it's only about 20% of it, maybe. And I think I might even include the Southwest Coast Path as well. So it's just most of it isn't open yet, isn't finished. So it's going to be interesting. I mean, obviously it's going to take me a number of years to advance my way around the coast. Maybe it'll be being completed before I get there in places, but certainly the initial stages I can piggyback off existing paths up to about Chichester, so that'll do. But yeah, let's get on to the end of here anyway. Oh, no. This one. My people advance scout. I'm a keen observer of their nefarious ways, as you know. Surprised he's here, actually. I mean, there's some really big waves because of the wind, but I think the shelving's all wrong. Not much range. It goes off too steeply. Need long, flat shallows underneath. Be better off around Kimbridge way. I bet they're loving it over there. The wind pushing the waves this fast. I bet they're huge. So yeah, some sort of building. I mean, you can tell the cliffs are unstable because they're giving up putting beach huts under them. But yeah, some sort of buildings up ahead. Coming up on something or other, which is always exciting. I love things. I was just reflecting, you could probably do this particular stretch in the middle of the night because those lights have been, basically those lampposts have been pretty much constant the entire way down to Sandbanks. It's quite pretty at night. But I imagine I'll be long on my way home by then. Probably be home by dark at the moment. It gets dark at 6 o'clock today instead of the 4 o'clock we were facing on the other side of Purbeck. It's good. That's even before the clocks change at the end of this month. So I mean, you know, I can start thinking about going for runs in the evening and stuff like that again. Don't like running in the dark. Dismal experience. I'd rather be unhealthy. Yeah, big old sweep of bay. Coming towards the end, the headland certainly. But yeah, it means I'll be able to start planning longer and longer day trips. Get a bit more mileage in for each one. I think the next one up between Hengistbury and Muddisford and whatever on the far side. Next one of these will be up to Hurst Castle and Keyhaven. A bit further around, definitely into the New Forest at that point. And then yeah, it gets a bit complicated after that because we get to Lymington and then there's no crossing of the Beaulieu River until, well, Beaulieu itself, which is about 10 miles upriver, I think. There's no ferries and it's not tidal enough for me to wade across this time. So yeah, no bridges. Well, the bridge is at Beaulieu. Now that's why the Solent Way goes and cuts across from Beaulieu straight up to Hythe Ferry up at the top of the Solent. Misses out Calshot, Leap and Fawley and all of the refineries and stuff. And to be honest, I wonder how viable the refinery part of that coast is anyway. You know, it's just going to be big razor wires and oil terminals and stuff along there. So they probably cut inland, significantly inland, for a good reason there. So I don't know what I'm going to do with that. I don't know if I can. I don't know what my rules are. I think my rules are if I see an English coast path sign, and admittedly that's going to be quite a rare thing, I will try and follow it. But otherwise, I'm going to have to just use my best initiative and just try and maintain the spirit of the endeavour rather than the law of it, the letter of it. So yeah, lots to do. Not going to worry about that too much at the moment. Just going to enjoy today, which is definitely one of the easiest stretches of coast path I've done anywhere at all, and I should just savour it and enjoy it. That was a good run. And there's the end of a footpath that started about 8 miles away at Sandbanks. Which I'm not sure you can even see anymore. So yeah, I have to turn the autopilot off now and try and figure out where to go from here. I'm going to take a guess at that way. Probably trying to get to the top of that hill over there, but there's no guarantee there's an actual footpath. So we'll have to see. Something on top of there. Was that an NCI Coast Watch place, perhaps? NCIS, whatever. Alright, anyway, I'm quite near to the car now, so that's good. But I need to go further. Yeah, this is what I was afraid of. No acorns, no diligent not-for-profit organisations putting posts up everywhere and taking donations to sort it out. Mind you, that might be a good steer. That's the European long-distance footpath E9, which we don't talk about anymore. Down with the stars, etc. But that goes to Dover. before crossing back to Europe. But I could get quite far looking out for signs for that. That sort of implied there is a path, all the way to Dover at least. Okay, well let's go this way. Why not? Right, looks like some choices to make here. Reaching the end of the civilised bit. The path goes in and sort of snakes around, and I think possibly gets on some access on top. I can see people up there. I think I will go up there just for the view, but it's going to be bloody windy and very cold too. There's a whole load of reflective jackety people there. Not sure what that's about. So we'll find out. What I'm probably not going to do is just blindly follow the shingle all the way around the beach to the end. Looks like there's stuff, but it's hard going, and I think the path I'm more interested in is up there and over towards where the ferry is, which will take people to the other side of Christchurch Harbour. So yeah, let's go to the top and have a look. 20 to 4 on the first hill of the day. It's been that kind of day. Let's get some views. What's to see from up here? Hengistbury Head. Let's have a look at where we've been first. Wheezing, that's got to stop. Need more fitness. Not all going to be as easy as today. Fence to lean on. What have we got there then? That's all Purbeck, Delston Country Park, Old Harry Rocks, Swanage. Somewhere way down there, Sandbanks, where we started today. And this has been one of those days where you can practically see the entire day's journey all from one spot, and for most of it. Car should be somewhere down there, one of those. Not seeing any obvious fires. So that's Southcombe, is it Southbourne? So that's Christchurch over there, and I believe that must be the church which gives it its name. Don't know, I'll have to ask. I believe that's the River Stour, which snakes inland and eventually ends up at the Stour Head Gardens, which I've been meaning to have a look at some point. I mean, they're very good in autumn. It's all Wiltshire way, quite far inland. Yeah, not sure I can really recognise any distant inland features. That's Muddyford over there. Now I think this side then you can see the actual ferry. Well, where the ferry would be. I don't know what time it's running, to be honest, because I wasn't really planning on taking it today. So. But yeah, it's a proper through hike. I would be panicking about catching a boat across that gap next. I think it goes from somewhere around there, that black building, or maybe further in. Perhaps that's it. I don't know, I intend to go down there now and find out. I'm not done today until I get there, because next time I'm just going to start from that side and carry on. And I predict it's not going to be nearly as easy going, or even as easy to navigate as today either, so I could do some proper research and actually buy a map. I sort of forgot to buy a map for today, but it turns out I didn't need one really. Plus those maps take up a lot of room eventually. About 30 or 40 of them all in a bookcase now, the orange ones. Most of which for places I passed through once or twice. Donate them to a charity shop or something. Or save them for the return trip. So yeah, a ton of beach huts down there. Most of which look to be about half a metre above the sea level, if that. So yeah, this is a Christchurch Harbour, big inland navigable lagoon thing. Now the exit is over there. Ferry's over there as well somewhere. I think the ferry might be over there then, that section there. Zoom, 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 zoom. Yeah, that looks like it might be some sort of rudimentary ferry terminal. But as I say, I don't need to worry about it really today because I'm not crossing it. There's no point, because I'll just have to buy a return ticket and immediately come back again. might as well just drive to wherever on the other side and do the day trip on that side. So that all goes along, that's next time, along to Hurst Castle in Keyhaven, I believe. Hurst Castle might be. Panning. Might be that bit on the end there. I don't know. Looks about right. It's 11 miles according to my half-assed semi-planning. And then over there, we've got the Isle of Wight. Quite a considerable amount of it. We'll be seeing a lot more of that as we move eastward. It'll be on our south side across the sea from pretty much Hurst Castle onwards. Hurst Castle is more or less level with the Newgorge, I think. So. And yeah, the Isle of Wight itself, I can't leave that off the I'm not doing every little island that's off the mainland of the United Kingdom. I'll have to go back and do the Scilly Isles otherwise, and that's basically 7 islands, the total shoreline distance of about 20 miles, so not really worth it. But the Isle of Wight's a significant thing. I reckon it's going to be about a 4-day round trip going around the coast. It has a coast path as well. It actually has an established coast path, so that'll help. And yeah, I might end up having to wild camp that. I want to. I missed it. This day tripping feels like cheating, frankly. Anyway, right, I'm not done yet. I need to get down to probably the ferry tower. I'm not sure I need to go right to the very end because I'm going to have to walk back along here to get to the car. But it's not too big a return journey. I can use that footpath down there by the looks of it. Is that a road? Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Right. Let's find out where this path goes. Oh, hello. It brings an attractive young thing like you up here. Really got to get a handle on that fetish. It's quite unique, I think. Right, keep going. Not too worried about daylight. I mean, it's coming up for 4 o'clock. Normally that'd be end of innings for a November trip, but got 2 more hours of daylight left. Yeah, so I think that's plenty of time to get down to there and back to the car. Good. Impressive view. Probably the best view actually. I imagine from the top you can't really see much. Get a better view of this place. That's what we'll find out in due course. Oh, those guys in all the fluorescent, they were coast guards doing some sort of abseiling down cliffs training. I could tell it was training because there was no sense of panic and they were all just like a lot of people standing around watching. Probably don't need that many people to do one actual rescue. Yeah, this is more like it. This is the kind of landscape I'm more used to. Like a tiny little last outpost of the rugged stuff before settling down into the New Forest over there. It's turned out nice. Nice end to the day. Clouds have settled down a bit. The temperature's, it's come up above chilling down to merely cold, Bit of sunlight. Good, enjoying it. Nice to be out again, nice to be back on it. Some magnificent heathland here. My purples and greens. Yeah. Sun's well behind the clouds, not going down yet. Wonderful light on everything. And down here, I don't know, these look a bit bigger than beach huts. I think people actually live in proper houses. Let's go down and find out. Something you don't see every day. Beach huts with loft space. No birds will hear me. Yeah, these are definitely a class above these. Multiple windows. They've got little bunks in the top. Still at it. Mind you, now very close to sea level. There we go, here's some information. You know the drill. Birds, basically. All good nesting locations for them and things, wading birds and whatnot. sure what the deal is with the ferry there. I think I can see it actually. Yeah, I reckon that's probably it. Only passing academic curiosity, of course. It just means I've finished for the day, that's all. I like these. So there you go. Last ferry was an hour ago. Which is fine, I don't need it anyway. So yeah, I might go to the end anyway, just because I'm curious and it's not that far. Some sort of pub on the end, I think. I don't know. I shall have a look. Sparkly sunshine. Ah, here we go. So that's Muddyford on the other side. And that is too deep for me to wade across, even without a heavy bag. There's a ferry there. I mean, I suppose if you shout and wave enthusiastically, someone might come over, but it's okay, I don't really need it. So that's bathing in this stretch of water is dangerous, strong currents. Yeah, that's some old customs house or something, holiday apartments now. More dinky cool beach huts there. I think that's where I'd go if I ever found myself on the run. Hire one under the name of Mr. Ian Cognito, and then just shack up in the middle of nowhere on this weird little spit of land on the south coast of England. Although on reflection, telling you that on this video probably does spoil the whole effect. Still, it's a nice little place that I never knew existed, frankly. So that's, you know, the kind of the point of this whole thing. Really good. Right, well, yeah, next time I'm going to try and find my way to there and then get from there to Hurst Castle down the end of there. But I don't know when that'll be. Might not be next weekend. Try not to do these every weekend, but got other stuff I want to be doing as well. But yeah, this is as far as we go today. 10 miles or so nearer to Minehead, the long way round. So yeah, bye.